Hey gang, this next video we'll be talking about dividing again. This time we'll be dividing decimals by other decimals. So when you're dividing a decimal by a decimal, there are a couple of more steps than what we did when we did the last video dividing decimals by whole numbers. The first thing you want to do in a decimal by decimal division problem is change the divisor, which again is the number on the outside of your division house, to a whole number. And then after you change your divisor to a whole number, step 2 is to move the decimal point in the dividend the same number of places that you moved it in the divisor. Once you do these two steps, steps 3 and 4 are just like what we did in the last video, so we're going to jump right into example 1 so you can see what steps 1 and 2 here look like. Okay, so example 1, I have the problem 1.71 divided by 0.9. So 1.71 is my divisor, or excuse me, my dividend. 1.71 is my dividend. That goes inside my division house. And then 0.9 is my divisor, and that goes on the outside. And again, you can write 0.9 just as 0.9. And so step 1 of a problem like this is going to be to take your divisor, your 0.9, and make that number a whole number. And we'll do that just by taking our decimal point and moving it one place to the right. Okay, so if we move our decimal point one place to the right, we now have the number 9. And we're going to do the same thing inside our division house to the dividend. We're going to take the decimal point on the dividend and move it one place to the right. Okay, so now instead of 1.71, we have 17.1. And so now we're going to divide like we normally would, just like in the last video. Okay, so 9 won't go into 1, but 9 will go into 17. 9 goes into 17 only one time, and so I'm going to place a 1 and make sure, since we're dividing 1 into 17, we put that 1 directly above the 7. Okay, the digit furthest to the right of 17. So 1 times 9 is 9, and now when I subtract 17 minus 9, I get 8. Now I can bring down this one and divide again. 9 goes into 81 9 whole times, and 9 times 9 is 81. It goes in evenly, so that means I have nothing left at the bottom, so I'm done dividing. Because we've moved the decimal point, now when I put my decimal point in my quotient, I need to put it directly above my new decimal point, so it's going to go here between my 1 and my 9. So my answer to this problem is 1.9. Again, estimate to see if your answer makes sense. Okay, 1.71 is close to 2. 0.9 or 9/10 is close to 1. And 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2 is very close to our exact answer of 1.9. So 1.9 does make sense. Okay, example 2, we have 52 divided by 0.4. Be careful with this problem. Okay, 52, even though it's the whole number, it is the dividend, so it goes inside our division house. Okay, remember that first number in the division problem, the number here always is your dividend. You're dividing by 0.4, so the 0.4 is our divisor, it goes on the outside. Just like the last problem, my first step is to take my decimal point on my divisor and move it so that I get a whole number. So I need to move my decimal point one place to the right, so now this becomes 4 instead of 0.4. And for 52, even though the decimal point isn't actually there, you know that the decimal point, even though it isn't written in, you know that there's an invisible decimal point right here. 52 means the same thing as 52.0. So when I move this decimal point, again, I need to move it one place to the right, it's going to go here past this 0. So now my decimal point is here. I'm going to extend my division house a little bit. Okay. And so now it's like I'm doing the division problem 520 divided by 4. Okay, so 4 will go into 5, okay, one whole time, so I'll put a 1 directly above the 5, since we're only dividing the 4 into this first number. 1 times 4 is 4, and 5 minus 4 is 1. Now I can bring down my 2. 4 will go into 12 3 times, so my next number up here is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and I get 0. Okay, I need to bring down this 0 here. 4 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 4 is 0. So we subtract and we get 0 again. Now, normally when you get 0 at the bottom and you've run out of numbers, you stop. For a problem like this, you only want to stop when you hit your decimal point up in your quotient. So let's think about where our decimal point in our quotient is going to be. Our dividend, again, is 520 point, and then, again, we have these imaginary zeros after, to the right of this decimal place that you could add in if you wanted to. So that means that our decimal point is going to go straight up here to the right of this 0 in my quotient. Okay, so now, because I've hit my decimal point, I can go ahead and stop. I know that the answer to my problem is 130. Okay, it's a whole number, or 130.00, and I could add however many zeros I wanted. Okay, let's try number 3. We have the decimal 0.009, that is 9 thousandths, divided by 0.18. So we'll set up our division house. 0.009 is our dividend, so inside the division house is where it's going to go. Again, 0.009 is the same as just 0.009. So you don't have to put the 0 to the left of the decimal. You do need the zeros to the right of the decimal. We're dividing by 0.18. And now this problem is a little bit different because in order to make my divisor a whole number, I have to move my decimal point not 1, but 2 places to the right. So my decimal point's going to go here to make this an 18. So you need to do the same thing to your dividend's decimal point. You need to take this decimal point and move it 1 and 2 places to the right. And so that puts it here just to the left of 9, just before the 9. Okay, so it's like having a 0.9. So now let's actually think about where our decimal point is going to go in our quotient. Because we moved the decimal here right in front of the 9, then I'm going to go straight up and my decimal point will be here in my quotient. We're taking 18 into 0.9, okay, and we have some zeros in front of it. 18 won't go into 0, okay, well it will, but it will go in 0 times, so I can add a 0 here to the left of my decimal point. 18 also won't go into 9, so to the right of this decimal point I can put a 0 directly above my 9, since 18 I know is too big to go into 9. I then need to, in my dividend, extend it so that I can take 18 into 90. Okay, remember if you add a 0 to the right of a number and you're after the decimal place, it doesn't really change the number. So I can add this 0 here so that now I can divide 18 into 90. And 18 actually goes into 90 5 times. Okay, 5 times 18 off to the side, do your multiplication, would be 90. And so if I multiply those and subtract, then I end with 0 at the bottom. Okay, so your answer for this one is going to be 0.05, 0.05. Okay, and be really careful with where you put your decimal point, and especially this 0 right here. This always seems to throw some people off. If you need to pause and rewind that and watch what I did again, feel free to do that. Again, you have to put a 0 here above the 9 because your number out here, 18, won't go into just 9. Okay, it will go into 90 though. So a 0 goes above the 9, and then 18 went into 90 5 whole times. And that's why the 5 went here, the 0 in front of it. All right, one more problem. This is number 4. For this one, we have 0.052 divided by 1.3. So 0.052 is our dividend. We're dividing by 1.3. We need to move the decimal place in our divisor 1 place to the right to make this a whole number. So it will go out here, become a 13, and we'll do the same thing with our decimal point here in our dividend. It moves just 1 place, and it goes here just before the 5. Okay, so let's think about, first of all, where the decimal point is going to be in our answer. It's going to go directly above this decimal point. Okay, so it will be right there. I can't take 13 into 0, so I need to put a 0 in front of my decimal point in my answer, I also can't take 13 into 5. So again, I need to add a 0 above the 5. And you keep on adding zeros until you find a number you can take 13 into. I can divide 13 into 52. Okay, and 13 will go into 52 4 whole times. 4 times 13, if you need to do that off to the side, do that. You actually get an exact answer of 52. And 52 minus 52 is 0. So we get an answer for this one of 0.04. 0.04 or just 0.04. All right, if you have questions over this video, we'll try to get those answered the next time I see you, but you're going to start practicing some homework problems over dividing decimals by decimals. So be sure you're checking your work carefully, referring back to this video if you need to and if you get stuck on those problems. Until I see you again, have a nice day. You are all wonderful people. Bye-bye.